Welcome everyone to another lecture of solid state electronics. সবাইকে আমার ভয়েসটা ক্লিয়ারলি শুনতে পাচ্ছেন, স্ক্রিনটা দেখতে পাচ্ছেন?
জি স্যার, ভয়েস এবং স্ক্রিন দেখা যাচ্ছে।
Okay, thank you. The topic we have covered in previous two classes was about the carrier concentration. We have seen how we have determined the concentration of electrons. We have determined how we have find an expression where we can determine then how many holes are available in the valence band and how many electrons are available in the conductor. We find the expression. We have understood the Fermi level. We have understood the many aspects of solid state electronics. And the expression we have found here, that the P naughts and the N naughts, the expression we have found it for the, intrinsic semiconductor. Then what was the intrinsic semiconductor? Intrinsic semiconductor was a semiconductor which is absolutely pure. There is no impurities inside that semiconductor. That is called as the intrinsic semiconductor. There is no dopant atoms available there. This is absolutely pure. This was the expression for them. Now, for intrinsic carrier concentration, we will try to find some topics, some understanding here, some conclusion here. For an intrinsic semiconductor, the concentration of electrons in the conduction band is equal to the concentration of holes in the valence band. That means for intrinsic semiconductor, that the concentration of electrons in the conduction band is equal to the concentration of holes in the valence band. We may donate Ni and Pi as the electrons and hole concentration, respectively. In the intrinsic semiconductor, these parameters usually referred to as the intrinsic electron concentration and intrinsic hole concentration. However, Ni and Pi is equal. So normally we simply use the parameter Ni as the intrinsic concentration, which refers to either intrinsic electron or hole concentration. As both of them are equal, we can use Ni as an intrinsic electron or hole concentration. This you have to remember. What is Ni? Ni is the intrinsic carrier concentration. That how many electrons or holes are available in the conduction or the valence band. The Fermi energy level for the intrinsic semiconductor is called the intrinsic Fermi level. Okay, we are denoting these terms because we will use these terms in later. If we apply equation 4.11, 4.19 to the intrinsic semiconductor, we can write this equation. Eta কোন দুইটা ইকুয়েশনে বসাইছে, which of the two equation they have put it? They have put it in দেখেন. This was the 4.19, the concentration of holes, and the 4.11 was the concentration of the electron. In this expression, they have replaced my EF equals to replaced my EF as EFI. They have replaced my N naught as Ni. By replacing these two, they have found the intrinsic carrier concentration. Intrinsic carrier concentration means concentration of semiconductors. It can be either electron or hole, but the concentration of electrons and holes are equal for intrinsic cases. That is my conclusion for the carrier concentration in intrinsic cases. Now, we can see that we can write the intrinsic expression like this. Ni equals to Nc, airport P naught equals to Pi equals to Np, because both of these expressions are equal. Now, if we take the product of the equation, that means if we multiply this Ni and Pi, though Pi and Ni are same, that means we are multiplying Ni into Ni. That will be Ni square, and Nc into Nv exponential. Whenever this is exponential this term, this is exponential this term, and whenever the power things are multiplied, suppose you are multiplying a to the power x, a to the power y, you are multiplying them, then what will be the result? Result will be a to the power x plus y. Same goes for if you are multiplying e to the power x into e to the power y, then the result will be e to the power x plus y. These are the elementary algebra. So by multiplying these two as exponential, that means it is the power term. Exp, this term is actually the power term. That means they are being added together. After being added together, that EFI is gone and we are left with EC minus EV. that EC minus EV is actually what? If you remember, there is called a conduction band. There is something called valence band. And the gap between them, we have discussed it. The band gap between them is the band gap energy. Okay, is the band gap energy EG, the gap between them. So EC minus EV is replaced with EG, and where is the EG is the band gap energy. Band gap energy is nothing but the energy difference between the conduction band and the valence band. Okay, so these are the value, and the thing that it has been written here is that the intrinsic concentration for silicon at 300 Kelvin temperature, the intrinsic concentration of semiconductor or silicon at 300 Kelvin temperature is the 1.5 into 10 to the power 10. But whenever you are putting the values here, if you are taking the band gap as 1.12 electron volt, you will find the expression is 6.95 into 10 to the power minus 9. The commonly accepted value for Ni for silicon T equals to 300 Kelvin is approximately 1.5 into 10 to the power 10 centimeter inverse 3. So whenever someone asks you that what is the value of intrinsic concentration of silicon at 300 Kelvin temperature, it is 1.5 into 10 to the power 10 centimeter inverse 3. If I ask you to do a certain math and that math is needing intrinsic concentration of silicon, then even if I don't put the value in the question, you have to assume that the value will be 1.5 into 10 to the power 10. This is one of the most important values for the semiconductor electronics. Okay, one of the basic values. Okay, there is a math. You can do it by yourself at home. If you can't, then I will show you again. These maths are also important. Remember which of the maths I'm saying important, which of the maths I'm not saying important. Try them for yourself. If you don't, then come to me with the solution. Now, proceeding. এখানে একটা মনে রাখবেন যে one of the findings of our this carrier concentration is একটা জিনিস একটু মনে রাখবেন যে we haven't mixed anything with our silicon yet. Our silicon is absolutely pure. Our silicon is absolutely pure. The device you are watching this video today is also based on silicon. Okay, so you know that the solid state electronics is one of the base of our electronic device, and electronic devices are necessary in every aspect, in your telecommunication, in your power sector, everything. Now my silicon is pure now. That is why it is termed as the intrinsic. That is why it is called as intrinsic. Now whenever we are plotting the energy band, we know there is the energy band which is called the conduction band. We know there is the energy band which is called the valence band. Now whenever it is intrinsic, that means pure, the Fermi level goes absolutely in the middle of that conduction and valence band. That is when it is called an intrinsic Fermi level. Okay, intrinsic Fermi level is when the Fermi level is absolutely in the midpoint of the band gap, absolutely in the midpoint of the band gap. Whenever you will see that we will add some dopant atoms. Dopant atoms means the impurities. Okay, because the pure silicon is not enough to provide huge amount of electricity or the desired electricity. Only silicon is not enough. So silicon is doped with other atoms like group 3 or group 5 elements. Okay, then the Fermi levels sometimes go up, Fermi levels sometimes go up, Fermi levels sometimes go down. But the main point I want you to understand that whenever the silicon is pure, the Fermi level is in the absolute in the middle of the band gap. That is called the intrinsic Fermi level. Okay, that is what they have written here. Okay, so absolutely in the middle whenever the silicon is pure, and we are taking the effective masses as equal. Okay, now these are our findings for the intrinsic semiconductor. What is intrinsic? What is the carrier concentration of intrinsic? What is the intrinsic Fermi level? These I have shown here. I hope you understand the intrinsic Fermi level is the Fermi level for our pure silicon. And what is Fermi level? I have shown it in the previous classes. Now, important topic, very, very important topic. This math you can leave out. This math is not that much important. Now, dopant atoms and energy levels. We are going into the main thing now. Dopant atoms and energy levels. Dopant atoms and energy levels actually mean that you are impuring your silicon. But you'll tell me, sir, pure things are best. But in this case, pure thing is not the best. Is not the best performing device. Whenever you want to use silicon in a certain devices, millions and millions and billions of transistors in a device, you want that silicon to be dopant with something. Okay, that dopant will give you an extra amount of electricity in your device, which is ideal. Because আসলে আমরা আজকে মানে the topic we're getting into is the N-type, P-type materials. If I give you the spoiler, the topic we're getting to, we are forwarding to the P-type and N-type materials. You remember the diode, P-type, N-type, P-N junction, that how that P and N-type materials are created, we want to understand here. Okay, you remember the N-type materials have electrons in it. The P-type materials have holes in it. How these things happen, we will learn it today. Okay, this is the solid state electrons and the beauty of the solid state electronics. সবাই তো আমার ভয়েস শুনতে পাচ্ছেন না ক্লিয়ারলি? কেউ কথা কয় না কেন? শুনতে পারতেছেন?
জি স্যার, শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ, থ্যাংক ইউ। আমি এটা জিজ্ঞেস করলে একটু একজন হলো মাইক অন করে বলেন। আচ্ছা, dopant atoms and energy levels, very important topic, very interesting topic. This is not the boring type of topic. This is very interesting. Ekটু দেখেন, the intrinsic semiconductor may be an interesting material, but the real power of semiconductor is realized by adding small controlled amounts of specific dopant or impurity atoms. The doping process described briefly in the previous chapter, the doped semiconductor called an extrinsic material. That means whenever it is pure silicon, it is called the intrinsic material. When the device is not pure, you are adding some kind of impurity, then it is called the extrinsic material. Is the primary reason we can fabricate the various semiconductor devices that we'll consider in the later chapter. Various semiconductor devices like the BJT transistors, MOSFETs, etc., which are the basics of the modern day technologies. Achha. Now, qualitative description. We discussed that the covalent bonding of silicon. Covalent bonding of silicon, you remember, Chamojoji bondon or covalent bonding we have discussed in the previous lectures, that the silicon, whenever we are considering the silicon, it has 4 valence electrons. So silicon produce 4 covalent bonds across another silicon. That is how the bond is created, isn't it? We have seen it in the previous. This is the silicon been created with covalent bond, which is like this. Covalent bonding of silicon, consider the simple 2-dimensional representation of single crystal silicon lattice shown in figure 4.3. Single silicon lattice. Now, what I am doing here, now I'll add phosphorus. I will add phosphorus. Now, as you know that the phosphorus is a group 5 element. Phosphorus is a group 5 element. And the atomic number of silicon was 14. The atomic number of silicon was 14. And the atomic number of phosphorus is 15. The valence electron or the electrons in the last orbit is 4. That is why it is group 4. The amount of electron in the valence shell for phosphorus is 5. That is why it is group 5. For having 4 electrons in the valence shell, that is why it has created 4 covalent bonds with another silicon. But phosphorus has 5 electrons. Remember, phosphorus has 5 electrons in the valence shell. Valence shell means is the last shell of an atom. Which electron possesses, which electron have. So this is the thing with silicon is it has 4 electrons in the valence shell. In the outer shell, the thing with phosphorus is it has 5 electrons in outer shell. So suppose there are 9 friends in a class, and I have told you to make a pair. So a pair consists 2 elements, so 2 friends. That means there will be 4 pairs, but 1 friend will be left alone. And that 1 friend I have told him that the term you know is a dudh bhat, that he is neutral, and there are four teams. There are 4 teams, suppose, and the 1 player that has not created any pair, he will be with all of the teams for half an hour. So what does that actually, happens in the solid state? What is the significance of this? Now, the group 5 element has 5 valence electrons. 4 of these will contribute to the covalent bond. Again, this phosphorus, you have added a single phosphorus atom in the silicon crystal, suppose. That means it has created 4 covalent bonds with the silicon, 4 covalent bonds with the silicon. But that 1 electron, leaving the 5th more loosely bound, bound to the phosphorus atom, loosely bound. That means he is roaming around. Because the 4 pair has their selective chairs, but 1 friend that has not been paired with, he will be in with all of the pairs. So that is the effect. That is called, he is loosely bound to the phosphorus atoms. This effect is schematically shown in figure 3.4. That means this electron now can start to move. Buchhed, a electron now from one place to another, these electrons can start to move. The phosphorus atom without donor atom is positively charged. At very low temperature, this phosphorus atom should have 15 electrons. As one of the electron is gone, that means there is a reduction in electron. That means the phosphorus will be in the positively charged. The phosphorus will be positively charged, and the total silicon will be negatively charged. The phosphorus atom without the donor atom is positively charged. At very low temperature, the donor electron is bound to the phosphorus atom. However, by intuition, it should seem clear that the energy required to elevate the donor electron in the conduction base is considerably less than that for the electrons involved in the covalent bonding. This is very common sense. However, by intuition, it should seem clear that the energy required to elevate the donor electron into the conduction band is considerably less than that for the electrons involved in the covalent bonding. What does that mean? That means our main target was to elevate electrons, from valence band to conduction band. Our target was that. Now, as that electron is loosely bound here, but the energy level ED is the energy state of the donor electron. As that electron is loosely bound, that means it will need less energy to move around. Suppose, think it like this. Suppose that the 9 of your friends are in the class. Just learn from the analogy. Suppose 9 of your friends are in the class. I have told you guys to make a pair. Okay, everyone will have to pair korte hobe. That means there will be 2 friends in a pair. So you have formed 4 pairs and 1 friend is left with. 4 pairs have been seated at their respective places, and the friend which has not been paired is roaming around. He is standing. So the friends which are seated, they will need more energy to roam around because they have seated. They have to make themselves up from the seat. They have to take themselves up from the seat. But the friend which is not in the pair, he can move around all the places because he is standing. So whenever I call that unpaired friend and a paired friend, if I call one of you guys unpaired and paired, that which of your friend will come to me first. The friend with unpaired, he will come to me first because he is loosely bound. That is what I've seen here, that the energy level of donor electron is less than the conduction band because electrons can jump here very easily, and it has to be less than the conduct because it is loosely going from one places to another. And we're finding it from the intuition, not any value. That means, দেখেন, if this এখানে হলো, this is the for the donor electrons energy level. একটু দেখেন, if a small amount of energy such as the thermal energy is added to the donor electron, it can be elevated into the conduction band, leaving behind a positively charged phosphorus ion. The electron in the conduction band can now move through the crystal, generating a current while the positively charged ion is fixed in the crystal. This type of impurity atom donates an electron to the conduction band. Very important, very important line. This type of impurity atom donates an electron to the conduction band and so is called a donor impurity atom. The donor impurity atoms add electrons to the conduction band without creating holes in the valence band. The resulting material is referred to as an n-type semiconductor. We have created an n-type semiconductor. What I have told you here, that the electron level, the electron loosely electron is in this state, this portion, which ED. Whenever there is thermal energy, this will go to the conduction band. Now, the very important part, which most of you guys have forgot, that there are electrons in valence band. And whenever there are electrons in conduction band, that time the current is flowing. I want to flow current in my semiconductor. That is my final goal. Now, whenever temperature is rising, there are electrons in donor state as well. There is also electron here. When temperature is rising, these electrons might need greater energy value to go in the conduction band. But in this donor state, the electrons will go in conduction state with very little effort. এই কারণেই তো ভেজাল add করছি. That is why I added impurity. That means there is electron in my conduction band. That means my current is flowing. Whenever there is no impurity, that means in order to flow current, electrons need to go from the valence band. I'm telling you very important line here. Please concentrate. Whenever it is intrinsic, that means it is very pure. If you want to provide electricity, that means electrons need to go from the valence band to the conduction band. The gap is very big. But whenever you have added an impurity, then a little amount of energy will kickstart your current, your electricity. Little amount of temperature will kickstart your electricity, because with the little temperature, this donor state electron will go to the conduction band. That means my current is flowing. That is what I've said here. And another very interesting part is, you can see that the current is flowing. Electrons have been generated in conduction band, but no holes is created because electron has not gone from here. Then the hole would have been created. Electrons have not gone from the valence bond. Electrons have gone from the donor state, donor energy band. So that is what they have written here in the last lines. I'm reading from the book directly because this book is very, just student friendly, user friendly, and very simple language are used here. The donor impurity atoms add electrons to the conduction band, this donor, without creating holes in the valence band. The resulting material is referred to as an n-type semiconductor. দেখেন বুঝছেন কিনা? Very important. Is it the PN junction, PN diode? If you have learned it in the electronics devices, bipolar junction, transistor, BJT, PNP, and MOSFET, all these things are created with N-type and P-type materials or semiconductors. So today we have achieved our understanding how to create an N-type material. N-type semiconductors. N-type semiconductors are created whenever you add an impurity to your silicon crystal, and that impurity has to be in the group 5 region, otherwise you will not get the n-type material. Okay, সবাই কি একটু বুঝে আসছে নাকি কিছুই বুঝেন নাই? হালকা পাতলা বুঝছেন সবাই? এভরিওয়ান আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড? আচ্ছা, একটু পড়লে আরো ক্লিয়ার হবে, নতুন তো। We have created n-type material. Now it is only natural for us to create a p-type material. So from the common sense, without going into the topic, with my common sense, I know that there are excess of electrons, in n-type materials. But in p-type materials, there will be excess of holes. It is very natural because holes are considered as positively charged. Now consider adding a group 3 element. Group 3 element means that the valence shell has 3 electrons. Okay, that means the last orbit has 3 electrons. Such as boron as a substitutional impurity to silicon. Previously we added phosphorus, now we are adding silicon. The group 3 element has 3 valence electrons, which are all taken up in covalent bonding. The group 3 element has 3 valence electrons, which are all taken up in the covalent bonding, as shown in figure 4.6a. Again, boron add course. What they have added? Boron. Now the sad part is, suppose I shouldn't say sad part, it is actually good part. Silicon has 4 valence electron and boron has 3 valence electron. So whenever silicon is creating covalent bond with his buddies, no electrons are loosely bound. Now whenever boron is added in the silicon crystal, boron has 3 valence electrons. That means he will create 3 covalent bonds. And the sad part is, here he can't formulate a bond. That means there is no bond here. Now how that helps me, sir? As this place is empty, some of his neighboring silicons are very generous and they will feel sad for this boron because this boron has no hand. So what they do, they break one of their hands and give an electron to boron. So boron has now an electron. Now that the silicon has break one of its arms and give it to the silicon, that means this silicon has donated its electron to boron. That means this silicon has now a reduction in electron. That means a reduction in electron means a positive charge has been created. So positive charge has been created in this place. And again, this positive charge, when another silicon sees that his silicon brother is in need of another hand, he also donates. That means that hole is created here. That is how that the hole is moving from one place to another. Okay, evabe holo. Now as hole is moving, positively charged is moving, that means current is flowing. In the previous section we have seen that the electron is moving, that is why current is generating. Here we can see that the hole is moving, that is why current is generating. That is what they have written here. Now consider, I am reading out from the book. Now consider adding a group 3 element such as boron as a substitutional impurity to silicon. The group 3 element has 3 valence electrons. The group 3 elements has 3 valence electrons, which are all taken up in covalent bonding. As shown in figure 4.6, one covalent bonding position appears to be empty. If an electron were to occupy this empty position, if an electron were to occupy this empty position, its energy would have to be greater than of the valence electrons. Okay, এখানে হলো কি যে the impurity that we have added in the n-type material has electron excess on it. That means he has extra electron. That means he is donor. That is why it is Ed. The impurity we have added for p-type material boron has an electron less in it. That means he will accept electron. He accepts electron from another silicons. That is why he is acceptor. And from the intuition, he is accepting electrons and he is creating holes. Now the acceptor level of boron, if an electron had to occupy the empty position, its energy would have to be greater than that of the valence electron. Since the net charge state of boron, atom would now be negative. However, normal valence band that it will be greater. Just remember this term that it will be just a hints greater. However, the electron occupied this empty position does not have sufficient energy to be in the conduction band. So its energy is far smaller than the conduction band. Okay, however, because there is no electron flowing here. So the electron occupying this empty position does not have sufficient energy to be in the conduction band. So it is very much less than conduction band, but the acceptor energy level is slightly greater than the valence band. And here, the donor level is slightly less than conduction band and very greater than the valence band. Just remember this term. There is no variation. There are only two variations, N-type and P-type. So you don't have to, understand or remember the ton loads of graphs. These two graphs are very important, and these two graphs you need to remember. So its energy is far smaller than the conduction band. Figure 4.6b shows how valence electrons may gain a small amount of thermal energy and move about in the crystal. The empty position, the empty position associated with the boron atom becomes occupied, and the other valence electron position becomes vacated. Okay, because this silicon's electron has been vacated. The other vacated electron positions can be thought of as holes in the semiconductor. That means the hole has been created. Okay, by adding donor atoms, we created excess of electrons. By adding acceptor atoms, we have added the holes. We have created the holes. Okay, figure 4 shows the expected energy state of the empty position and also the formation of hole in the valence band. Whenever from this valence band electrons are going in the acceptor state with the little amount of thermal energy, that means the hole has been created in the valence band. In order to flow the current, I'm saying it again, I have said it for the 100 of times in the previous classes. The main reason behind the flowing of electricity is the generating of electrons in the conduction band or generating holes in the valence band. The main way to generate electricity or current in semiconductor is the generating of electrons in the conduction band or the generating of holes in the valence band. Okay, so figure 4 shows as expected the energy state of empty position. Now, the acceptor atom can generate holes in the valence band without generating electrons in the conduction band, just like the previous one. This type of semiconductor materials is referred to as a p-type material. Okay, very important. In this topic, we have understand how n-type and p-type materials are created. If I summarize, in order to create n-type material, you will add atoms from the group 5, where there is an excess of electron compared to silicon. Whenever you want to create p-type material, you will add an element from the group 3, where there is a reduction of an electron compared to silicon. Okay, this is the main theme I want you to understand. Okay, ionization energy we can skip for now time being. Now we'll end our topic with the equilibrium distribution of electrons and holes. We'll end our topic with this. We defined an intrinsic semiconductor as a material with no impurity atoms present in the crystal. An intrinsic semiconductor is defined as a semiconductor in which controlled amount of specific dopant or impurity atoms have been added so that thermal equilibrium electron and hole concentration are different from the intrinsic carrier concentration. What does that mean? In the previous lecture, you have found the carrier concentration of electrons, you have found the carrier concentration of hole or the hole concentration. But that concentration was for intrinsic cases. Now we want to find the electrons, the holes in extrinsic case, in extrinsic semiconductor. Understand? In the previous class, you did I've gone to previous. In the previous class, we have understood this graph very carefully. A graph carefully understand this graph, that the area is in the area here is the electron concentration, the area here is the hole concentration. Okay, so now this is the area electron concentration, this is the area hole concentration. We've understood this topic. We've understood the expression of N naught and P naught. But this graph is for the intrinsic purpose, not extrinsic purpose. Now we want to find the graph for extrinsic purpose now. Okay, we want to find the concentration for extrinsic purpose. I've gone too forward again. একটু দেখেন, হ্যাঁ এটা কঠিন না, ওটার মতোই জাস্ট একটু চেঞ্জেস, একটু চেঞ্জ। Adding donor or acceptor impurity atoms to a semiconductor will change the distribution of electrons and holes in the material. Since the Fermi energy is related to the distribution function, the Fermi energy will change as dopant atoms are added. Remember, Fermi level will change. If the Fermi energy changes from near the mid-gap value, okay, if Fermi energy changes from the near the mid-gap value, the density of electrons in the conduction band and the density of holes in the valence band will also change. This is very natural. These effects are shown in figure 4.8 and 4.9. First, we are taking the figure 4.8. Okay. এখানে দেখেন আমি এখানে একটা কথা বলি, একে দেখাই, একটু মনোযোগ দিবেন, এটা কঠিন কিছু, এটা মানে the tough parts are gone. God bless my drawing with mouse. Okay. Suppose this is my conduction band, humble conduction band. This is my valence band. Okay. Here I'm drawing. This is my EFI. That means intrinsic Fermi level. Remember, intrinsic Fermi level. The Fermi level when the silicon is absolutely pure. Now, as I have added dopant materials, as I have added dopant materials, কারো কি কিছু বলার আছে? Whenever I am adding dopant materials, what will happen? That the intrinsic Fermi level will change. Remember, if I am adding donor atoms, if I am adding donor electron atoms, suppose group 5 elements like p-type materials, suppose n-type materials, phosphorus, then my Fermi level will increase from the intrinsic, because Fermi level will increase because that there will be concentration of electrons that has been risen, that is rising. That is why. So this is for when I'm adding donor, but whenever I'm adding acceptor atoms, then my Fermi level will be less than the intrinsic level. Whenever I'm adding the acceptor atoms, because it is decreasing from the intrinsic, because the holes are rising here. So remember these two terms. Okay, whenever I'm adding donor atoms, the Fermi level is rising from the intrinsic one. Whenever I'm adding acceptor atoms, Fermi level is getting down from the intrinsic one. Okay, remember these two terms, then you will be golden. দেখেন figure 4.8 shows the case for EF greater than EFI, and figure 4.9 এই যে দেখেন is showing EF less than EFI. এখানে দেখেন EF is greater than EFI. Electron concentration is larger than the hole concentration. When EF is greater than EFI, the electron concentration is larger than the hole concentration. It has to be. দেখেন একটু দেখেন কিভাবে আসছে। Remember this graph, Fermi distribution. This was the Fermi distribution or Fermi probability function or probability distribution function, Fe. That probability distribution function with respect to this. Now you see, as Fermi level has risen from here, it will go in the middle section here and here. Now you see the electron concentration is the multiplication of the density of states and this probability function. By multiplying these two, probability that electron is in the corner, multiplying these two will get this term. And you can see multiplying these two, we get this one. So whenever EF is greater than EFI, we can see that the concentration of electron is much greater than this. That means it is obviously, and which type of material? It has to be a n-type material. And here we can see that when EF is less than EFI, the graph is going like this. Why graph is going like this? You should know. We have discussed it in the probability function. So here we can see that the concentration of holes is much greater than the concentration of electrons. Okay. So when the density of electrons is greater than the density of holes, the semiconductor is n-type. We know that very well. Donor impurity atoms have been added. When the density of holes is greater than the density of electrons, the semiconductor is p-type, except the impurity atoms have been added. There are only two cases here. One is n-type and one is p-type. That is the discussion. So it is not like that you have to 10 cases to remember or understand. There are only two cases, for n-type, for p-type. For n-type, we are adding donor. For p-type, we are adding acceptor. When we are adding donor, Fermi level is getting up from the intrinsic. Whenever we are adding acceptor, Fermi level is getting down from the intrinsic. That is what I have told here, and that is the summary. Okay. Now, if you write the carrier concentration, the formula of the carrier concentration, what you will write? You write n naught. Remember this expression, n naught equals to, here will be nc and here will be nv. nc exponential ec minus ef by kt. Remember this formula. These formulas will be legit for this case as well. ec minus ef, that ef level will be changed. Okay. P naught equals to nv exponential ef minus ev. Okay. So these are the Fermi level. Do this math. This math is very important. I'm going absolutely in the ending. So you can see now. এখানে একটা একটু কাজ করব, একটু দেখেন। These are the expression for the electron concentration. This is the expression for the hole concentration. I'm still continuing because if I leave here, then the next few topics will be again tough when I start. So that is why I'm ending with the topics I have designed today. Now, you can see for n naught, it is nc exponential ec minus ef. What they have do, একটু দেখেন এখানে কি করছে, লিখে দেখেন, একটু দেখেন, সে কঠিন না, it is not that much tough, একটু দেখেন। n naught was previously nc. This is the expression we have seen in the previous class as well. The concentration of electrons exponential. This is ec. এটা এক্সপ্রেশনটা কি ছিল? ec minus ef ছিল তো না? হ্যাঁ, ec minus ef, মানে এখানে এটা হঠাৎ করে কেমন লিখলো এটা বুঝাইতে, ec minus ef divided by kt. Which expression I have written here? I have written here this expression. A expression to links ec minus ef by kt. এই এক্সপ্রেশনটা লিখলাম। নাও এখানে একটা মাইনাস আছে। নাও হোয়াট দে হ্যাভ ডু, they are computing this. Suppose A divided by B, I can see plus C and minus C. Will it plus C and minus C, will it make any difference in the function? মানে এখানে আসলে এটা দেখানো খুব টাফ হয়ে যেতেছে। দেখেন A divided by B, I can write a plus C and also I can write minus C. Will it make any difference from the A by B function? No, it is not. These and these are same. That is what I have written here, that EC minus EFI plus EF minus EFI. That means this EFI is cancelled again. So I have written here to make another expression. So n not equals to nc exponential EC, this one is EC minus EFI plus EF minus EFI. So this EFI, if you take this out, then you get the previous expression. Now these are the simple algebras. You just, whenever you are watching the recording, just see it with a pen and paper, then it will be easier. Otherwise, you will not understand. And now we are taking the two part of it. Suppose these algebras I should not explain at this level, still I am explaining. Suppose a to the power x to the power a plus b. You can write this expression x to the power a into x to the power b. These and these two are same. That is what they have written here. NC exponential, they have taken out this portion and they have taken out the later portion. Now, does this expression looks familiar? এটা একটা দাগ হবে, হ্যাঁ, এটা ইয়াতে একটু ঝামেলা করে। Does this expression look familiar? Yes, it does. It was the intrinsic carrier concentration. This was the intrinsic carrier concentration Ni. The intrinsic carrier concentration Ni. So now I'm replacing N naught equals to Ni exponential EF minus EFI divided by KT. Okay, that the thermal equilibrium in electron concentration can be written N naught equals to Ni exponential EF minus EFI. If EF and EFI are same, then N naught equals to Ni. This term is gone. Okay, so similarly we can find for the P naught equals to Ni exponential minus EF minus EFI divided by KT. These things you need to write, otherwise you will not understand. Okay, these are the simple algebra with these equations. Just write and you will understand. The final topic for today is the N naught P naught product. This is nothing but the multiplication of N naught and P naught. But this is very important. That is why I'm showing you the multiplication of N naught and P naught. I have multiplied these two. By multiplying these two, I'm getting this. Then it can be written like this. Now, do you guys remember this expression NC NP exponential minus EG by KT? I guess you forgot with all these topics, but I'll show you. You remember they have something called Ni square. Where is that? Ni square. That Ni is the multiplication of N naught and P. That Ni square is NC NV exponential minus EG by KT. Okay, so the product of N naught and P naught. The product of N naught and P naught is also the same. That means N naught and P naught equals to Ni square. So what is the significance here? I'm reading it out. Equation 4.43, N naught P naught equals to Ni square. The equation 4.40 states that the product of N naught and P naught is always a constant for a given semiconductor material at a given temperature. Although this equation seems very simple, it is one of the fundamental principles of semiconductors in thermal equilibrium. So significance of this relation will become more apparent in the following chapters. এই জিনিসটা হলো যে সবসময় the multiplication of N naught and P naught will be equal to Ni square. This is the very important aspect of the very important finding. যে দুইটার multiplication will always be equals to Ni square. Okay. So I know the topic was a bit much lengthy and somewhat tiring, but I hope you have understand the topic. Thank you everyone. We are ending the lecture with this one.